This happened to me too. I remember sitting across from someone I was dating, casually asking about their last relationship. Without hesitation, they said, "It was all their fault. They were impossible to deal with." At first, I brushed it off, thinking it wasn't a big deal. But as the weeks passed, subtle signs started to surface. Signs I couldn't ignore. They never admitted to being wrong, avoided reflecting on their actions, and seemed to have a knack for blaming others for every problem in their life. It didn't take long for me to realize that this wasn't just about their ex. It was a pattern, a glaring red flag that hinted at deeper issues, and it was in that realization that I learned a lesson I wish I had understood sooner. There's one question you can ask someone that reveals more about their emotional maturity than anything else. What went wrong in your last relationship? The way they answer speaks volumes. Do they take accountability? Have they learned from the experience? Or do they quickly point fingers and paint themselves as the victim? Their response can be a window into whether they've done the inner work necessary to grow, or if you're walking straight into a storm of unresolved baggage. This question doesn't just help you understand them better. It can save you months, even years of heartache. Relationships are built on self-awareness and growth. And if someone isn't willing to reflect on their past, how can they truly show up for the future? So, let's unpack this together. Let's learn to listen closely, not just to what they say, but to what it reveals about who they are. Because in the end, understanding this one thing could change the way you approach love and protect your heart from unnecessary pain. Point 1. Recognizing patterns of blame. When someone says it was entirely their fault, it might initially come across as honesty or vulnerability. But don't stop at the surface, dig deeper. Blame without reflection often signals a lack of self-awareness and emotional maturity. True growth lies in the ability to look inward and acknowledge one's role in past struggles. Take Elizabeth Gilbert's memoir, Eat, Pray, Love, as an example. When reflecting on her failed marriage, she doesn't just point fingers at her partner. She openly examines her own dissatisfaction and the choices she made that contributed to their relationship's downfall. This level of introspection isn't just admirable, it's essential for personal growth. Now, think about dating someone who constantly criticizes their ex. What does that behavior reveal? If they endlessly harp on their ex's flaws without recognizing their own, it raises a critical question. How do they handle conflict and challenges? Without a willingness to reflect on their part in the dynamic, they're likely to repeat the same patterns, dragging unresolved issues into future relationships. A truly mature perspective sounds very different. Instead of saying, "he was neglectful," a more evolved response might be, "I realized I needed to communicate my needs better." This shift in narrative isn't just about taking accountability, it's about demonstrating emotional growth and a commitment to self-improvement. Think about what this means in practice. A person who reflects deeply on their experiences is more likely to approach future challenges with an open mind and a willingness to grow. They're better equipped to navigate disagreements, own their missteps, and contribute to a healthier, more balanced relationship. On the flip side, someone who clings to blame may struggle to move forward. They may view themselves as a perpetual victim, unwilling to examine the deeper truths of their own behavior. This not only stunts their personal development, but also creates an environment where unresolved baggage is likely to resurface. Recognizing patterns of blame isn't just about judging someone else's past, it's about understanding their capacity for growth. When you pay attention to how someone speaks about their previous relationships, you gain valuable insight into their emotional maturity and readiness for a meaningful connection. Learning to recognize these patterns can save you from unnecessary heartache and help you build relationships rooted in mutual growth, understanding, and accountability. Because at the end of the day, a healthy relationship isn't about perfection. It's about two people willing to learn and grow together. Point 2. The two-way street of relationships. Relationships are rarely black and white, and they almost never fail solely because of one person. Picture this. You're driving a car, and your partner is the co-driver. If there's a crash, it's not just about who was holding the steering wheel, it's also about the directions being given, the teamwork involved, and even the condition of the road. This metaphor highlights the shared responsibilities that underlie most relationship dynamics, including their successes and failures. In The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck, the author underscores an essential truth. Love is not just a feeling, but an act of will. It requires conscious effort, intentionality, and commitment from both partners. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual participation and accountability, not on one person shouldering all the blame or taking none of it. When someone fails to see this shared responsibility and paints themselves as the perpetual victim, it can reveal a deeper issue, an inability or unwillingness to grow. They may be stuck in a narrative that absolves them of accountability, making it difficult for them to learn from their mistakes or approach future relationships with a healthier mindset. Now, consider what this means in practice. Imagine dating someone who repeatedly insists that every past breakup was entirely their ex's fault. What does that say about their perspective on relationships? Do they view love as a partnership built on collaboration and compromise, or are they simply searching for someone to blame when things go wrong? Contrast this with someone who approaches their past with self-awareness. Instead of saying, "My ex was always wrong," they might say, "I realized I didn't communicate my needs effectively, and that caused tension." This response reflects emotional maturity and a willingness to take responsibility for their role in the relationship. It shows they understand that love requires effort and are actively working on themselves to avoid repeating past mistakes. Recognizing the two-way street of relationships also helps you evaluate your own mindset. Are you willing to reflect on your contributions to a partnership? Are you open to addressing areas where you can grow? The healthiest relationships happen when both partners recognize their shared responsibilities and commit to working through challenges together. When you meet someone new, it's worth considering how they talk about their past relationships. Do they acknowledge the give and take dynamic, or do they lean on the narrative of victimhood? These subtle clues can tell you whether they're ready to build a balanced, mature partnership, or if you're stepping into a one-sided story where accountability is absent. I am sure no one taught you that, am I right? Unlocking a girl's mind isn't about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about understanding the secrets, the real secrets, that actually work no matter who you are. If you're ready to stop chasing and start attracting, I've created something tailored just for you. My course is the ultimate blueprint for understanding what women truly want and becoming the man who gets the girl every single time. Right now, exclusive spots are almost gone. Once those spots are gone, this opportunity will vanish and you'll be left watching someone else getting the girl you want. Let's continue. Point 3. Emotional baggage and healing. Let's talk about emotional baggage. Picture this. You're packing for a long-awaited trip. Instead of carefully choosing what you need, you haphazardly throw in everything. Old clothes, junk you don't use, and even a broken phone charger. By the time you arrive, your overstuffed suitcase weighs you down, making it hard to enjoy the adventure ahead. Relationships work much the same way. When someone hasn't unpacked their emotional baggage, it spills over, creating unnecessary weight for both partners to carry. Emotional baggage is the unresolved pain, patterns, and habits we bring from past experiences. It's not inherently bad. We all have it to some degree, but what matters is how we handle it. Someone who's actively worked through their baggage will have tools to navigate challenges. On the other hand, someone who hasn't might be stuck in unhealthy cycles, dragging old wounds into new connections. Take this example. If someone mentions their ex was a narcissist, don't just nod and sympathize. Dig deeper. Ask them what steps they've taken to heal and grow since that experience. The answer will tell you a lot about their emotional readiness. Have they processed their feelings through journaling, therapy, or meaningful conversations with trusted friends? Have they sought support, maybe by joining a group or taking time to reflect on their role in the relationship? Here's a story to illustrate this. I once knew someone who went through an incredibly tough breakup. Instead of letting it consume her, she decided to climb a mountain, literally. She said every step felt symbolic, as though she was shedding the weight of her past with each upward stride. By the time she reached the summit, she felt lighter, freer, and ready to embrace new beginnings. The method of healing doesn't matter as much as the effort itself. Whether it's therapy, creative outlets like painting or writing, physical challenges, or even simple acts of mindfulness, the key is intentional action. These steps show they've acknowledged their pain and are working to grow from it rather than letting it define them. On the flip side, if their answer to "how have you healed" is something like "I don't know" or "I just avoid thinking about it," that's a red flag. Avoidance isn't healing, it's a temporary distraction. Unresolved issues have a way of bubbling up, often when you least expect them. It's not about expecting someone to be perfect or completely free of their past. That's unrealistic. But emotional maturity means recognizing that baggage exists and taking steps to manage it. It's about showing up for yourself first, so you can show up fully for someone else. When you meet someone new, pay attention to how they talk about their past. Are they open and reflective, or do they avoid the topic altogether? Do they share what they've learned from those experiences, or do they frame themselves as perpetual victims? The way they handle emotional baggage offers a glimpse into their capacity for a healthy, balanced relationship. Point 4. The power of self-reflection. Let me tell you, self-reflection is a true game changer. It's like cleaning out your house. When you finally get to the clutter, you not only rediscover treasures you forgot about, but also face the mess you've been avoiding. This process might be uncomfortable, but it's essential for growth. A person who is willing to reflect on their actions and say, "I realized I was too controlling in my last relationship," is showing you something powerful. They've stepped up to the plate, acknowledged their flaws, and taken responsibility for their part in the dynamic. Here's a great example. A friend of mine once told me that after a difficult breakup, he started meditating as a way to heal and gain clarity. During one of his sessions, he had a profound epiphany. He realized that in his past relationships, he had consistently prioritized his partner's needs over his own, to the point of neglecting his own emotional health. This realization wasn't easy, but it was transformative. It led him to set clearer, healthier boundaries in future relationships, ensuring that his needs were equally valued. Self-reflection like this doesn't just help you grow as a partner, it helps you grow as a person. Think about lessons like those in Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, where he speaks about finding purpose even in the most difficult circumstances. Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, discovered that we can find meaning even in suffering if we are willing to reflect on our experiences, learn from them, and adapt. That same principle applies to relationships. A person who is capable of reflecting on their past mistakes and learning from them is like a diamond polished through pressure. They are stronger, wiser, and more resilient. But it's not just about having realizations, it's about the action that follows. Reflecting on your behavior is the first step. The real growth happens when you actively change. A person who can recognize their flaws and make an effort to adjust their behavior is showing true emotional maturity. Whether it's learning to communicate better, setting boundaries, or understanding their triggers, they're working on becoming the best version of themselves. Think about the difference between someone who constantly blames others and someone who regularly checks in with themselves. The first may never move past the same patterns, while the latter is continuously evolving. The ability to self-reflect and grow is essential for building healthy, lasting relationships. When two people commit to this process, they create a partnership based on mutual understanding and self-awareness, which strengthens their connection over time. Self-reflection isn't always easy. It takes courage to face the parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore. But when done honestly and with intention, it becomes the foundation of personal growth and healthier relationships. Someone who actively reflects, learns, and evolves is someone who can bring more to the table, not just for themselves, but for their partner as well. So, when you're dating or getting to know someone, consider how they talk about their past and how willing they are to take accountability for their actions. Are they open to self-reflection, or do they deflect and avoid? A person who embraces this process is someone who's ready to build a deeper, more meaningful connection, one that's not just about love, but about personal growth and mutual respect. Point 5. Asking tough questions. Now, let's get real. Asking someone about their past isn't just idle conversation or small talk. It's your opportunity to understand their emotional depth. The magic isn't just in what they say, but how they say it. How they respond to tough questions tells you a lot about their self-awareness, emotional maturity, and willingness to engage with the truth. Imagine this scenario. You ask her why her last relationship ended. She thoughtfully replies, "We wanted different things, but I realized I need to communicate better." That's someone who's taken the time to reflect on what went wrong, learned from the experience, and is actively working on improving themselves. Now, contrast that with a response like, "He was a jerk," followed by no further explanation. That's a surface-level answer that reveals a lack of introspection. It doesn't provide insight into what truly happened or what's been learned from the experience. Here's a story to illustrate this. I once met someone who told me the hardest question she'd ever been asked came from a close friend. The question was simple but profound. "What do you think your ex would say about you?" At first, she was caught off guard, but the more she thought about it, the more it shifted her perspective. She stopped blaming her ex and started taking ownership of her role in the relationship. This question helped her realize that growth doesn't come from pointing fingers, it comes from looking inward and owning your part in the story. Asking tough questions like this might feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort is a sign of growth. It's like shining a flashlight into a dark room, not to judge or criticize, but to see clearly what's really there. A person who can face their own truth with grace and humility is someone you can trust when life gets messy. Think about it. If you never ask the tough questions, you'll never know whether someone has truly done the work to heal, reflect, and grow. It's easy to get swept up in a smooth conversation where everything seems perfect, but true emotional depth reveals itself in moments of vulnerability and self-examination. Someone who can reflect on their past, take responsibility for their actions, and engage in open, honest dialogue is someone who's ready for a deeper, more meaningful connection. They're not afraid of the hard questions because they understand that real growth comes from facing discomfort and learning from it. Every relationship faces its challenges. There's no escaping that. But what truly sets the successful, lasting connections apart is the ability to grow and evolve together. The people who thrive in relationships are the ones who take responsibility for their actions, learn from their mistakes, and actively seek growth. To conclude, when someone can openly admit their shortcomings and demonstrate how they've grown as a person, they're signaling that they're ready for something real, something deeper. It's not just about avoiding past mistakes, it's about showing that they've done the inner work to become a better partner. That's a person who understands that relationships aren't perfect, but they're worth putting in the effort for. The next time you're getting to know someone, don't shy away from asking the tough questions. Ask about their past, their growth, and the lessons they've learned. Pay close attention not just to what they say, but how they say it. The way they talk about their experiences will give you a glimpse into their emotional maturity and readiness for a meaningful relationship. Remember this, you're not just looking for a partner to share good times with, you're looking for someone who's willing to grow alongside you, to face challenges together, and to constantly learn from both the highs and lows. As the philosopher Marcus Aurelius wisely said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Now listen, you've already heard it all before. Be nice, just wait, it will happen naturally. But that's not how the world works. If you're tired of guessing, tired of chasing, and tired of losing, it's time to change the game. Inside my course, you'll find the secrets you need to get the girl you've always wanted, without begging, without games, and without wasting another second. This is your chance. Right now, click the link in the description. Only few spots remain. Once they're gone, it's over. So stop waiting. Take action now, join today, and I'll show you how to take control of your life, your relationships, and your future. Don't wait for life to happen to you. Take the reins. You're one step away from everything you've ever wanted. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.